The acid bath serial killer. Who was John George Haigh? We can keep asking what causes people to become serial killers, and we may never get a definite answer. Some of these killers do it for money, sexual pleasure, or so many other reasons. John George Haigh was executed in 1949 after being convicted of the murders of 6 people. He became notorious for his gruesome method of disposing of the bodies of his victims with sulfuric acid and forging their signatures on documents, which allowed him to sell their possessions for vast profits. Hey guys, welcome to another exciting time with us on this video. Today, our spotlight is on John George Haigh, a thief, fraudster, and serial killer. If you're here, it means you must have been following our videos and have subscribed to our channel. Hold on a minute, you haven't subscribed to this channel yet? Okay, we'll let that slide just this time. Go on and subscribe right this minute, and hit the notification bell while you're at it. John George Haigh was a man who possessed a great deal of natural charm right from childhood. Beyond the charm, however, he was a cold-blooded serial killer. He served 3 prison sentences for theft and fraud, and while in prison, he discovered a new get-rich-quick scheme. He would kill his victims and then dissolve their bodies in acid, believing that he could not be charged with murder if there was no body. Who is John George Haigh? Haigh was born on the 24th of July 1909 at Stamford in Lincolnshire. He was brought up in Outwood, Yorkshire, where his very religious father was a colliery foreman. The family moved to Wakefield when he was young, and they lived on Ledger Lane, Outwood. Haigh was a smart kid while growing up, and he secured a scholarship to Queen Elizabeth Grammar School, the city's independent school for boys. During his time in the city, Haigh became a chorister at Wakefield Cathedral, where he was described by fellow choristers as a brainy lad but a bit of a loner. At 17, and for some reason, Haigh left school and was an apprentice to a motor engineer, although only for a while. His charming adolescence ended at the age of 25. He left home, and on the 6th of July 1934, he got married. As he did not want to work under anyone, he ventured into the business of forging vehicle documents. Few months into his marriage, he was arrested and jailed for fraud, receiving 15 months at Leeds Assize in November of 1934. His new wife divorced him, and his religious relatives ostracized him. After serving just 2 years, John Haigh was released from prison, and he moved to London, where he started a dry cleaning business with a partner. Everything was going well and business was thriving, until his partner was killed in a car crash. Haigh secured a job as chauffeur to the McSwan family, but remembered one of the schemes he had picked up at the Surrey Assize in November of 1937, a crime which eventually cost him 4 years penal servitude. He was released on August 1940, but was back inside within a year, serving 21 months for stealing. It was clear that John Haigh was never going to earn an honest living. This time on his release, he became a salesman for a firm in Crawley, an occupation he followed until 1944. Soon after, he met an old friend named William McSwan, whom he had worked as a chauffeur for. McSwan told him about his new venture as a landlord, collecting rent from the tenants who stayed in his parents' multiple properties. Though he had a well-paying job at the engineering firm, Haigh became jealous of McSwan's seemingly lavish lifestyle and the little effort he seemed to put into it. On the 9th of September 1944, Haigh and McSwan went for a drink at the Goat in Kenningston High Street. They then went to 79 Gloucester Road, where Haigh had a workshop, where Haigh smashed McSwan's skull and put his body in a water butt filled with acid. 2 days later, McSwan was nothing more than 100 or so pounds of sludge, which Haigh poured down a manhole. After killing McSwan, Haigh proceeded to see McSwan's parents, with whom he got on quite well, and told them that their son had gone into hiding to avoid being drafted. He maintained this deception by sending the elder McSwans letters supposedly from their son until July 1945, when the couple became suspicious, as McSwan had not returned home even after the draft was over. To cover his tracks, John George Haigh killed them as well and disposed of their bodies in the same manner as he did their sons. Acting as William McSwan, he managed to obtain legal control of all their possessions and sold everything, making about $10,000 in the process, which in 1945 was a great deal of money. However, the money didn't last long, as he shortly developed a gambling problem. Out of money, Haigh was forced to find another wealthy couple to kill and rob. In 1947, he met Dr. Archibald Henderson and his wife Rose during a property deal. In February of 1948, he took them, one at a time, from the Metropole Hotel in Brighton where they lived, to his new workshop in Crawley. There, Haigh murdered the couple and disposed of them like he did his previous victims. The warehouse seemed to be the perfect place. It was relatively remote and contained a manhole where the human sludge could be easily disposed of. By February of 1949, Haigh had been living in the Onslow Court Hotel in South Kensington for 4 years. One of the other residents was Miss Olive Henrietta Olivia Roberts Durand Deacon, a 69-year-old widow who had lived at the hotel for over 6 years. The two were familiar with each other, as they often exchanged pleasantries at mealtimes, with Haigh telling her that he was an engineer and an inventor. On the 14th of February, Miss Durand Deacon showed Haigh some false fingernails that she had designed, and asked Haigh if he could improve the idea to a product that would be marketable. He told her that he would think about it. Haigh took the opportunity to lure her to his warehouse and murder her there. On the 18th, the two of them drove to Haigh's ramshack workshop in Crawley. Here, he shot her in the back of the head, and after removing her jewelry and fur coat, put her body in a 45-gallon corrosive-resistive drum and filled up the tank with sulfuric acid. He returned to Onslow Court Hotel and ate a 3-course dinner. With all the money that he had, Haigh purchased a new warehouse. Unlike Haigh's previous disposal grounds, the Leopard Road warehouse had no floor drain and no manhole access. As he could not pour the sludge into the sewers without calling attention, Haigh had to dump Olive Durand Deacon's body in a pile of rubble behind the warehouse, where it was easily uncovered by investigators. Upon the discovery of Olive Durand Deacon's body, Haigh was arrested and charged with murder. The news had spread, and Haigh was now known as the acid bath murderer. During the trial, he pled insanity and claimed that drinking the blood of his victims had driven him mad, but there was no evidence that he had consumed human blood. After hearing his insanity defense, one of the arresting officers mentioned to the prosecutor that Haigh had asked him what the chances were of being released from a psychiatric hospital versus prison. It took the jury only 17 minutes to return a guilty verdict on Haigh, sentencing him to death. On August 10, 1949, John George Haigh was executed for his crimes. This is where we draw the curtain on today's video. What are your thoughts on John George Haigh? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our next video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep safe.